All right, me thinking about a pizza. This is how this goes down. Now, this is the way I start out. I highly do not recommend this, but I put in the amount of water considering the end product I'm going to be dealing with. In this case, I'm concerned about the volume of the container, so that's how I decided how much water to put in there. That's completely the wrong way to do things when you're baking, but that's how I do it. I'm concerned about the size of the vessel. Really, you should be concerned about the product. Oh, I got other things going on here meanwhile. All right, so that was about a teaspoon of yeast and probably 2 heaping teaspoons of sugar, and then that sat for 10 minutes. And here's the vegetable oil. Use a light vegetable oil that doesn't have a lot of flavor to it. You don't want oil commandeering your flavor. And that was probably about a tablespoon of salt, I reckon. See, so what happened here was I'm concerned about the volume of the vessel. So that told me how much water I put in. And then in my mind, I knew how much yeast and sugar was necessary for that amount of water. And then I'm going to add the amount of flour that's necessary for the total product. How much water's in there, basically. That's how I work, and I don't recommend it, but that's the way it goes down around these parts. So mixing it up with a fork, and then eventually I'm going to take this out of here and knead it. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend making any yeast product like this, but this is the way I do all of them. I judge by relationships. And I usually work pretty fast. All right, see, with my hand there, I'm sensing how much moisture there is. I know whether I'm even going to bother to try to knead it right there. Then I've got a handle on it. This felt right to me. There we go. And this is the way I knead when it's a smaller product. If it was larger, I'd be kneading in the opposite direction. Why I do it that way, I don't know. But that's the way I do it. And here, look, notice I'm not even going to bother to try to clean the vessel or anything, because this is going to sit in the refrigerator for 2 days. This is what I'm used to doing in the restaurant world. Pizza dough sits for 2 days. And that's the way most pizzerias do it. Here, now this is the sauce. The jalapenos are not the sauce. The tomatoes are the sauce I'm going to use for this pizza. I also don't recommend this. I have 2 different end uses for this tomato sauce that I'm about to make. One of them is a pasta dish, and this one I'm going to use it for this pizza instead of creating a different sauce. So this sauce is going to have a lot of character. This is not a traditional pizza sauce by any stretch of the imagination. I would recommend this with something exotic, like if you were going to do fresh mozzarella and I don't know, like shrimp or something kind of really exotic like that. This type of very flavorful sauce would be useful. As it is, this is going to be a thin sauce, which is not ideal for pizza, but I'm willing to take that trade-off. I'm not. The other thing I decided I'm not going to do, so I'm not going to reduce this so that it's a thicker quality, because I wanted the brightness that it had. If I reduced it, it would have gotten darker. So as it is right now, it's complex, and it's pretty thin. It's still usable for pizza, but I wouldn't recommend this. This is just the way my mind's working. I'm thinking about end products. And the end products are a different pasta dish I'm going to make later on, and this pizza. I could have theoretically cut that in half and taken half of it and reduced it. I just didn't want to lose the flavor that it already had going for it. Now this is the pizza dough after 2 days. And you can see I judged the volume perfectly. How much it was going to rise within that container. I had taken it out once after 24 hours and kneaded it once again. And I'm going to make 2 little pizzas out of this. And again, I'm going to use that same kneading technique, which is what I do with smaller product. Pretty good. It has a very, when you let it aged the right amount of time. 2 days to me seems like the right number for pizza. It has a velvety, very agreeable feeling to it. I don't know. There's probably other people that make videos about making pizza, and I don't know what they do, but 2 days is the time for me. There's the toppings I have over there. I suggest using fresh toppings. Like, see, I've cut green peppers, bell peppers over there. Those are fresh. In some restaurants and pizza shops, those will be prepared in advance, maybe even sautéed. They get soggy and lose their character. What I would suggest is very thinly sliced green peppers that are raw. That way you maintain their character. And there's some pepperoni and sausage over there as well. Here, the reason why I'm flipping it like that is to get it the flour evenly spread, so it's not going to stick anywhere. Now you can see this sauce is fine, but it is thin. Now fresh mozzarella on top of that, and maybe even some basil, that would be ideal. Yeah, that would be pretty tasty with this sauce. Yeah, I don't like it pizzerias when they have prepared things. If anything's canned, like canned mushrooms, those are disgusting. Canned mushrooms on pizza is yuck. You'd be better off thin slicing raw mushrooms. Or you could saute it in advance and then just try to tamp off some of the oil or whatever you have on it. That's the second pizza. There we go. There's the 2 pizzas done. Now they rose perfectly. You know, it ended up being perfect in this case. The sauce was very nice. It was really like I thought it would be. It had a lot of character to it, but since it was thin, it wasn't overpowering. You know, it wasn't like I had tons of it on there. And the dough rose just perfectly, as you can see here. Yeah, it's pretty tasty.